CBS just appointed a new editor-in-chief. Who is she? Her name is Bari Weiss, the founder of the Free Press, an online news outlet that claims to practice honest and fiercely independent journalism. To quote exactly, her outlet prides itself on publishing investigative stories and sense-making and provocative commentary about the world as it actually is. The outlet clearly includes a lot of provocative commentary about autism. But are they really the fierce truth-tellers they proclaim when it comes to autism, mental health, and other issues affecting learning differences? It would make sense to ask, since picking Bari Weiss has far-reaching consequences from one of the largest and oldest television news networks in the world. One to cut through the misinformation about autism, one to know the current issues about it from an actual artistic perspective. Stay informed by subscribing to the Autistic Insight today. So far, the so-called Free Press has published so much commentary that tends to downplay the needs of our community, but has yet to publish any news report about the condition itself. And as they promise, the commentary they've published is very provocative. But does it truly reflect autism and the autistic community for what we really are? For instance, here is a 2023 article taking direct aim at the neurodiversity movement, criticizing it for framing autism as a natural neurological difference. It should not be hard to tell that the article views autism as something to be cured, framing autistics as people who
will never pay taxes, they'll never hold a job, they'll never play baseball, they'll never write a poem, they'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted.
The author of this article complains about neurodiversity advocates pushing for alternative language guides that replace terms that entirely shoehorn autism as a deficit or disorder. What particular language guide did she not like? The one asking for the inclusion of strengths in a diagnosis. The author claims that the approach informing this guide engages in sugarcoating and trivializing autism and its daunting challenges. But as you can see from the guide, that is just plainly false. Including and even emphasizing someone's strengths doesn't necessarily sugarcoat challenges. The guide clearly states that you should not minimize the challenges faced by an autistic. The language suggestion is made so that providers don't communicate the assumption that an autistic person's potential is limited by that person's unique challenges. But that's precisely the assumption made by this article and much of the commentary about autism on Bari Weiss's outlet, even though there are autistics who can read much faster than those labeled high-functioning. So does the provocative commentary on Weiss's outlet really reflect autism for what it is? Here is another article complaining about giving a correct diagnosis to a student. Yep, you heard that right. Not just overdiagnoses or misdiagnoses, a correct one. Never mind the weight-diagnosed autistic adults who continue to face unique struggles in areas such as reading or math. Even an accurate early diagnosis is a problem for this author. She says that it can change the way a young person sees himself, create limitations for what he believes he can achieve, encourage treatment dependency on a therapist, and empty out his sense of agency, that he can, on his own, achieve his goals and improve his life. None of this is true. While it was more common for doctors in the past to say that certain kids couldn't do certain things due to disability, a diagnosis by itself doesn't mean you or your child won't be able to do certain skills or accomplish dreams or goals. But this is precisely what's assumed by this author and RFK. Contrary to what they want you to believe, all a diagnosis suggests is that there can be a different way of achieving your goals. Artistic and trouble reading? Programs like Linda Mood Bell can potentially help. Have comorbid dyslexia? A program like Orton Gillingham can be something to consider. Whatever your learning profile, you shouldn't be forbidden from doing what allows you to learn more and perform better. As Chief Justice John Roberts said from the Supreme Court, every child should have the chance to meet challenging objectives. Misdiagnosis is a problem that has unfortunately happened to a number in the autistic community, with some misdiagnosed as bipolar or depression. But by complaining about accurate diagnoses, the author of this article sends a wrong message to parents, telling them that they will only get a label that limits their kids. That is just not true, as it entirely misses the real purpose of diagnosis, which is to help with learning challenges unique to students with disabilities. But that apparently is a problem for these people who claim that schools spend more time discussing learning profiles instead of real learning, a claim that is also factually inaccurate. And many of us late-diagnosed autistics know that all too well. By going as far as to complain about accurate diagnoses, this article misleads parents in America who are wondering if their kids are struggling academically through no fault of their own. It will lead parents to refuse special education evaluations, even if offered by a school when mandated by law, which can severely undermine the ability of actually autistic kids to become independent learners. Despite complaining about kids not becoming independent, this author clearly doesn't care about the underdiagnosis contributing to that same problem. Bari Weiss herself has hosted these commentators on her outlet's podcast, and parents within these same criticisms. To her credit, she has repudiated the lies about vaccines and autism from RFK. But the job of editor-in-chief at one of the most storied networks on television involves shaping how news stories and issues are covered, including autism. Weiss and her fellow commentators consistently make claims about autism and neurodiversity that are not grounded in truth, and worse, can mislead parents of potentially vulnerable children into making very harmful decisions. While we can count on Weiss to not parrot disinformation about the relation between vaccines and autism, it will be reasonable to begin casting at least some skepticism on the network's framing of autism in our community, which will likely be heavily steered by her.